G'day, Jason the Middle-Aged Gear Junkie here. My friends from Pastfx from Brisbane, Australia have sent me out yet another amazing pedal to review. That is the Elastic Mattress, which is their version of the Electric Mistress by Electro Harmonix. Now, Electro Harmonix still make this pedal, but it is a far cry from the 70s models, which this is based on. I'm going to have to do this demo a little bit differently to the way I normally would, because the Elastic Mattress here takes 18 volts power, and the only 18 volt power supply I have is wired into my main board, which is on the floor. So I'm going to have to do this demo from the floor. I'm using my Seymour Duncan loaded cord, and the neck pickup is split into a single coil. This is my clean sound at the moment. Now, the Elastic Mattress is kind of almost like two pedals in one. If you turn the color knob all the way down like I have at the moment, it's effectively a chorus pedal. The rate is the speed, and the range would be like the depth on a chorus pedal. So I'll demonstrate what that sounds like. So by just using those two knobs and having the blend all the way up there, it sounds very much like a chorus pedal. I am eventually going to do a what's the difference video between chorus and flanger, but at this point for this demo what you need to know is that flangers have a control called feedback, or in this case it's called color. And what that does is it takes part of the signal and feeds it back into itself, creating this sort of loop. And what that does is it creates this sort of metallic swooshing sound that chorus pedals can't do. So by turning up the color, we get more of that sound. And that sort of gives us some really sort of classic flanger tones. So you can blend in a bit more of that sort of vibrato if you like. If I turn the color all the way up, it starts to get a bit wacky. When it comes to flangers, two guitarists really come to mind. Dave Gilmour from Pink Floyd and Andy Summers from The Police. But there's another guitarist that I like that used to use flanger a bit, particularly in his clean playing, and that was Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains. And you can really hear it on the intros to the song Rooster and Down in a Hole. true Pastfx style, what they've done is they've taken a classic design, added some tweaks to it for the modern player. Now, one of these tweaks is the bright switch here. Now, unfortunately, all analog flangers use something called a bucket brigade device. Now, these come with a bit of clock noise, which has to be disguised by sort of filtering out some of the high end. Now, that can mean that some flanges, depending on your guitar and amp, can sound a little bit dull. So to replace that top end, they've included a bright switch here. Now, this gives you a certain amount of top end sort of compensation, but the cool thing about it is that if I take off the back, which I have, and they give you this little knob on the inside, if I stick it in to the treble control here, I can actually adjust how much extra treble that toggle switch is going to affect. So if I only want a little bit, I can have it set it a little bit. If I want a lot, I can turn that up and then just pull that out. That's a really cool tweak. I've got it on my neck humbucker here, which can be a little bit dull. And if I turn on that bright switch, it will hopefully sort of brighten up my tone. Yeah, definitely does. They've put in a blend control, so I can blend between fully dry and fully wet, which you couldn't do on the original. So this, I've had it set at fully wet. That's about halfway. Now lastly, on the inside, we also have a volume photometer. So taking that little knob that I showed you before, plugging it in here where it says volume, I can adjust I can add some extra volume to this pedal or take some away depending on what you want. If you think that the pedal is not loud enough or too loud, you can adjust that very nicely on the inside. And that's kind of like a set and forget. You put the back cover back on and away you go. Electric Mistress style flanges have a filter matrix which takes out of play the rate. So if I was to hold a chord, you kind of get that flanger type sound, but it's now static. And you can use that as a bit of a thickener if you didn't want it to do the whole sort of swirly flangey thing. All right, now I've got the Pastfx camber drive here for a bit of overdrive. It's just such a great drive pedal. I love this thing. All right, so when I'm not a huge fan of using drive with flanger, and when I do, I always put the flanger in front of the drive. I explained that in a previous video called Where Do Modulation Pedals Go? You can put it after, there is no right or wrong, I just prefer it before. Now, what I tend to do with this pedal is when I run it with drive, I'll turn the blend down. If I'm honest, I never used to like flanger. It wasn't until I started listening to The Police about 10 or 12 years ago that I started to develop an appreciation for it, especially when it's clean and especially when it's run with a delay pedal. Now, I have a T-Rex Replicator tape delay just lying around, and who would like to hear the elastic mattress through a tape delay?
Me!
Yeah, me too. So I'd like to thank Pastfx for sending this out. The highest praise I can give this pedal is that it's now my go-to flanger and it's on my main board. So this thing just sounds amazing. It's great for those retro tones, but it's also got the modern tweakability. I love the fact that you can turn the color down and it can double as a chorus pedal. So if you've only got room for one, this can do the job of both, which I think is so cool. I really love the idea of having the potometers on the inside that you can control, and the fact that they give you the little potometer to stick in there. I've never seen that before in any other pedal, so I think that's super cool. If you'd like to find more about this, you can look up the Pastfx website, and I've put a link in the description below. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Remember, you can join the Middle Age Gear Junkie Facebook page by clicking on the link in the description. Other than that, my name is Jason. I hope you have a wonderful day. See you later.